Hey guys, what's up? Coach Matt Magnum here, talking about the workout for Monday the 15th. It is a conditioning day, so remember the entire point of all these conditioning days, it doesn't matter exactly what you're doing. There is no magical one workout or one item or activity that's going to get you in shape better or burn fat better than any other thing on the planet. The main thing is that you follow the philosophies and the guidelines here. So what we're aiming for is we're focusing on our heart rate, our breathing, and the subjective feeling of hard work. If you get your heart rate up, if you're breathing hard, if you are subjectively working hard for your skill levels, it doesn't matter if you're doing a CrossFit WOD or if you're doing jumping jacks watching TV. As long as you do it with the intent and intensity, you will burn calories and lose weight. All right, so all the normal stuff here, our tire drags, our sled dragging or pushing if you have a fancy sled. Otherwise you need to just get an old used tire, put a rope around it, start dragging it around. All right, that is some of the greatest calorie burning conditioning you can do, because it's simple, it's low skill, it's low impact, high metabolic requirement. Get a tire. Okay, all kinds of weighted carries, farmer's carry, overhead carry, bear hug carry, any of the above. If you got a partner, piggyback or fireman's carry. All your standard cardio stuff, running, walking, treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, all that stuff, just standard steady state cardio. Mix that in. You just shouldn't be doing 20 minutes on a rower every single time, but mix that in from time to time for sure. Circuits, you're just going from one thing to the other, and intervals where you're varying the intensity. Circuits and intervals go together very easily, but do not confuse one for the other. Circuits means I'm going from one thing to the other. Intervals means I'm having a period of high intensity followed by a period of low intensity followed by a period of high intensity. You can mix intervals and circuits together into one exercise or one program, but they're not the same thing, okay? So those are all your choices. Find a few things that you like or find a few things that you need to work on. But don't pick something that requires you to practice the skill to the point where you're not getting the intensity. That's why I like dragging that tire. No skill required. You don't have to learn anything. You just start walking and you'll be breathing and burning calories in no time. All right? Most of the time we want to stretch it out to at least 20 or 30 minutes. Occasionally we want to push it into that 30 or 40 minute range. But that's deceptive, because remember, don't push it to 40 minutes just by going slow and being lazy. If you're pushing hard, you're going hard, and you're killing it, it might only take 20 minutes and you're good to go. So don't just think that more is automatically better, because there is an intensity there. The more intense you go, the shorter it has to be. The less intense it is, the longer you can go. We want a variety within your skill level. But if you can't even make it to the 15 or 20 mark, if you're giving out at 8 minutes, that's too intense. If you're so sore you can't come back the next day, that's too intense, all right? So, shooting for 20 to 30 minutes most of the time, 30 to 40 minutes sometimes, at least 60 to 70% of that max heart rate. Max heart rate is 220 minus your age. That is your max heart rate. Multiply that times 0.6, and that is 60%. And that is at least the heart rate we want to get to. All right? You can get as high as 80 or 90%. You won't be able to hold that, but you can spike it with those intervals. And believe me, you won't have to worry about staying too high, because then you'll just have to stop. But I would rather you slow down so that you can consistently hit that 20 to 30 minute mark versus going so hard right out of the gate that you got to stop at minute 3 or 4 and then just stand there, and you're kind of wasting time. Unless you're doing some kind of sprint interval. That can be different. You sprint and then breathe for 30 seconds and then sprint, breathe for 30 seconds. Whatever. There's all kinds of ways to do that. Not the point. Sample workout for today. All right. 10-minute tire drag, 30 burpees, mix and rinse and repeat 2 or 3 rounds. So 10-minute drag, 30 burpees, 10-minute drag, 30 burpees. I mean, that's going to be over your 20 minutes already. If you're new or if you're not, you can even go drag, burpees, drag, and then you're done. This is also something where if you don't have your tire yet, or if you're still not quite there where, your conditioning isn't up to pace, walk on an incline on a treadmill, 30 burpees, walk on an incline on a treadmill, 30 burpees. So there's all kinds of ways that you can adjust this or fit it to your needs. 5 minutes, 10 burpees, 5 minutes, 10 burpees, mix and match and do that. There's nothing magical about what I chose. You just eventually have to choose something and just do it. So as long as you're choosing something that gets the heart rate, gets the breathing up, you're feeling like you're working hard for at least 20 to 30 minutes in that 60 to 70% max heart rate, then you're doing good and you're doing great and awesome. So if you got any questions, comments, concerns, put them in the comments below. I'll interact and respond. Otherwise, follow the page for all these free daily workouts and super cool fitness tips. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. See you later. Hey guys, what's up? Coach Matt Magnum here, talking about the workout for Tuesday the 16th. It is a muscular endurance day. That means we're still going through all of our movement patterns, but we're going for higher repetition. Remember, we use movement patterns. We do not isolate muscle groups or body parts because that is the best way for normal, regular, unenhanced athletes to train. And if you're a person, I mean you, athlete, you're an athlete because you want to work out, you want to get in shape, you're an athlete. So the best way for normal, unenhanced, natural exercisers to exercise is movement patterns versus massive isolation. So we're using our squat patterns, our pressing and pulling, either bilateral, both legs, or unilateral, single leg on occasion, pressing and pulling in both the horizontal plane and the vertical plane. So if you only ever do push-ups, pushing away, make sure you do something overhead. If you only ever do pull-ups, pulling from top to bottom, make sure you get in some rows occasionally, okay? It is muscular endurance day, and this can get confusing with conditioning day because you're probably going to be breathing hard and get your heart rate up either way, but we don't want that to be the limiting factor. The local lactic acid burn in the muscle group, that is the limiting factor today. So there's two types of endurance, whatever. It's your breathing, your heart rate, your body's ability to consume and use oxygen and get rid of CO2, okay? And then there is the local muscle group where it is building up lactic acid until the muscle group can no longer function. And as your body gets better at clearing away that lactic acid, your muscular endurance will increase. So we use conditioning days to utilize oxygen and get rid of CO2 better. And then we use muscular endurance days to practice getting rid of that lactic acid. And with those powers combined, you'll be a fitness superhero. All right, so muscular endurance day, movement pattern, squat, press, pull. We still want quality reps because when people do high rep sets, they tend to get sloppy. Okay, if I got to do 30 push-ups, the first 10 look good, I'm struggling on the next 10, and then the last 10 look like complete and utter death. Okay, I cannot let that happen. I have to keep my quality of movement throughout the set. I want quality reps, but we're also shooting for higher rep sets. Ideally, you want 15 plus per set, okay? That's not always going to happen on every single thing, so just shooting for those higher reps. If you're working on, say, push-ups, and you can only get 5 push-ups, then either we need to modify so we can get some higher reps, or you're just going to go for a higher total number, where if you can only do 5 push-ups, then you're still shooting for a big number, say 40 or 50 total. You would just do as many sets as it takes. If you got to do 10 sets of 5, that's still 50, that's still more muscular endurance for your level, okay? But eventually, we want to hit these types of numbers for the most part on most things. You can either do straight sets or you can do circuits. So for my squats, I can sit there and do 4 sets of 15 and then just move on. Push-ups, 4 sets of 15 and then move on. Or I can do it as a circuit. I can do 15 squats, I can drop down and do 15 push-ups, I can stand up and do 15 pull-ups, or whatever it might be. But again, do not let your breathing and heart rate be the limiting factor, okay? It's the muscular endurance that needs to be the limiting factor. I need to feel that burn in my back and my arms on those pull-ups, or in my chest and my triceps on those push-ups. It's not because I'm breathing and I need to stop and catch my breath, okay? So here's the sample for today. Remember, these are just samples. It's just an example that you can use. If you got something else in your head or something that you want to do, or this sounds terrible, but you'd substitute something else and it'd sound better, as long as you're following the principles and you're making improvements and making progress, I'm cool with it. So, for our sample WOD today, we got 40 air squats, 30 push-ups, 20 scissor kicks. You're just on your back. I like to keep my hand kind of tucked against my butt, legs straight, and you're just fluttering back and forth, squeezing those abs. Get a 4 count on those. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. All right, 40 air squats, 30 push-ups, 20 scissor kicks. That's it. Nice and simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. Remember, if any of these body weight exercises are easy in these higher rep sets, then you can slow the tempo down or add some pauses, and believe me, that will bring you right back down to earth. So don't think that these days are supposed to be easy or that you're just being lazy and popping through it. Quality reps, okay? So again, 40 squats, 30 push-ups, 20 scissor kicks. You can either do it for 2 or 3 rounds, or you can set a timer, do it for 20 or 30 minutes and just see how much you can get. Either way, doesn't matter. Again, I'm giving you options. You can be flexible with this thing. And again, if these numbers are too high for you, then you can break that up even more. If 40 is just ridiculous, do 20 squats, 15 push-ups, and then just as many scissor kicks as you can, and then do it that way. So there's all kinds of ways to make it fit for you. So make sure you take the effort to evaluate yourself constantly and fit this for you. Don't just copycat, cut and paste. Be your own best advocate for your own progress. All right? So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, put it in the comments and I will interact with you. Otherwise, just like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. That way you get free daily workouts and super cool fitness tips mixed in there. I think I dropped a couple gems real quick just rambling and I didn't even realize it. So there you go. You got some awesome stuff today. Appreciate it. See you later. Work hard. Hey guys, what's up? Coach Matt Magnum here, talking about the workout for Wednesday the 17th. It is a conditioning day, and if you're following it, these instructions are getting pretty repetitive. That is on purpose, because there is no one magical workout. It's the principles that matter. So it's the principles and philosophies that matter. If you learn the principles and philosophies, you can plug and play exercises and workouts, and just about anything you want to do will work as long as it fits the principles and programs. So my main message today, get that tire. You need to get a tire if you do not have any type of sled apparatus. Now, if your gym has a fancy sled, you can use that. But even if your gym has a sled, normally there's just some kind of short turf area instead of a long distance track to drag or push along. So even if you do have it, I still recommend just getting an old tire. Doesn't have to be a new one. Just go to a junkyard or just about anywhere that has cars, and they'll have an old tire somewhere just lying around getting ready to throw away. So just get yourself a tire. A little 60-cent eye bolt from Lowe's, a little piece of spare wood so it doesn't just pull through, run a rope through it, and now you got the world's greatest fat burning device, all for less than $5, and probably free if you have some spare hardware hanging around. All right, so that's it. Get a tire. Do it. The regular stuff for today, this is the regular message. This is not going to change. Learn these principles. It's conditioning day. That means we are emphasizing the heart, the lungs, and the gas exchange with our oxygen and getting rid of CO2. Processing oxygen aerobically, getting rid of CO2. So we're focused on heart rate, breathing, and the subjective feeling of hard work. Those are always the keys for victory for these conditioning days. It is about heart rate, breathing, and hard work. And as long as you are doing those things, you will be getting better. So you have your tire dragging, sled dragging or pushing, all your weighted carries, weighted vest work, all your standard steady state cardio, jogging, biking, elliptical, stair stepper, You can implement any kinds of circuits. There's thousands that you can find online, or you can just set up stations and move from one to the other. Does not matter. It's not magical as long as you're doing these things. And then intervals, high intensity period followed by catching your breath. Even if it's not stopping all the way, you run for 50 feet and then you jog for whatever. Then you sprint and then you jog. But that's just an example. There's all kinds of ways that you can do intervals with all different types of equipment as well. So make sure you're mixing and matching to a degree, but also if you find something that you just really enjoy doing and that motivates you to go be, active every single day, then there's nothing wrong with picking that if it's encouraging you to be consistent. Now, if you're just avoiding your weak spots, if you're just a long distance runner and that's all you do, but you would really benefit from some short, intense work, then that's a different talk for a different day. I'm just saying, mix it up, whatever. Mix it up, but find something that also works in the same. It's a fine line. It's a fine line. All right, so most of the time you're going to 20 to 30 minutes hard. Sometimes, or as you get in better shape, you're going to shoot for 30 to 40 minutes more occasionally, okay? Again, because there's a trade-off between time, which is volume, and intensity. If I go super hard, it's going to have to be shorter. If I go a lot longer, it's going to have to be less intense. So even if 20 doesn't look as much as 40, if I'm going an intense 20 versus a lazy 40, I'm getting a lot more out of that. But if you can't even make 20 minutes most of the time, you're probably going too intense. If you're just burning out at 10 minutes and you just have to fall on the ground there, again, once in a blue moon, even that's good. Pushing yourself hard to 5 or 10 minutes as hard as you can and calling that a day. But that's when you're really athletic and you can handle that kind of intensity and you know what you're doing. All right? For most of us, most of the time, you should just be pushing for a little bit more and back off that intensity because we want consistency more than anything. So this is the sample, 20 to 30 minute tire drag. And then when you get back, just do a few rounds, 60-second plank holds, and a farmer's carry. Nothing magical about what you're doing here. You just pick up some weights, walk for a little bit, walk back to where you're doing your plank hold. If you have some dumbbells, that's great. If you don't, improvise. Even 2, gallon jugs filled with water. Even if you're not doing a farmer's carry, if that's easy, press them overhead and hold them, and then that'll make it more difficult. So there's lots of ways to do weighted carries. But all right, that's it for today. So remember, get your tire. It's about principles and philosophies over any specific workout, and you got your sample there today. Notice we also drug the tire last time on conditioning day. That's what I'm saying. I think the tire is just super awesome. So there's nothing wrong with doing the drag most of the time. But if you want to mix in this other stuff, that's fine too. All right, so you got any questions, comments, concerns, put it in the bottom, and I'll interact with you. Otherwise, follow, like, share, all that good stuff. You get free daily workouts, and it's super cool. So, awesome. See you later. Hey guys, what's up? Coach Matt Magnum here, talking about the workout for Thursday the 18th. It is a strength day. Super exciting because we're going to get strong, we're going to get jacked. And when you're strong, you are exponentially harder to kill by any means necessary. Therefore, no matter what you think, everybody should be strong, okay? That makes it a movement pattern day. So we're going over our movement patterns, our squats, our pressing, and our pulling. But instead of the high rep muscular endurance, we're using tempos, pauses, and low reps. So mostly 3s and 5s. So here's the thing, if you have resistance, if you have access to a gym or you have your own weights, then getting to the low reps isn't that big of a deal. If you do not have resistance available to you and you're using body weight exercises, then that is especially when the tempo and the pauses will come into play. Either way, we are emphasizing control over weight at all times. So even if you have access to resistance training equipment or you have your own weights, putting as much weight on the bar as you can should be the very last thing you do to get stronger, unless you're a power lifter competitively, and then you're probably not following this program. But if you're a regular person who's not on steroids, who isn't a professional exerciser, then that's the key, all right? You don't need a ton of weight. You just need the feeling of heavy. Just like we talk about hard work being relative to your skill level on conditioning day, heavy is a relative term too. It's just heavy based on how you feel. And I would rather you use a slow tempo, pause, and use good control to make a medium weight feel heavy than get the heaviest weight you actually can do, and you're shaking and driving all that other stuff, and then you drop it on your neck, and then you have to go get surgery. That has happened. I haven't seen it, but I've been at the gym where a guy that happened. Anyway, that doesn't matter though. Just don't do that. So anyway, here is our sample workout for today. So we've got our barbell squats, 3 sets of 3. We have our parallel bar dips, 5 sets of 5, and then we have our barbell rows, 5 sets of 5, okay? So remember, this is just a sample workout. You can plug and play whatever you want in there, but that's my squat, that's my press, that's my pull, okay? You can see we got 3 sets of 3 here because squatting tends to be much more physically and psychologically demanding than most other exercises. So we squat first, get the 3 sets of 3 knocked out of the way, and then you can go to your dips and your rows. If you cannot do dips, you can substitute push-ups. If you don't feel like doing dips or push-ups, you can grab a bar, do overhead press or bench press or dumbbell press or overhead press. Does not matter. As long as you're pressing, you're good to go. Same thing here. You could do barbell rows, T-bar rows, dumbbell rows. You could do lat pull downs, pull ups, chin ups, all that stuff. It's pulling. So as long as you're pulling, you're good to go. So don't kill yourself with the weight. Use the tempo, use the control, make it feel heavy, all right? Hey, that's it for today. So if you got any questions, comments, concerns, put it in the bottom. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Follow the page because you get all these super cool Freely Day workouts and cool tips and tricks and stuff. So appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Later. What's up, guys? Coach Matt Magnum here. Just finished a 7 a.m. cardio session a few minutes ago, and the fact that those words are even coming out of my mouth is pretty crazy, so I'm pretty proud of myself the rest of the day. But anyway, I've been debating this week on changes to the format. The first, I don't know, maybe 6-7 weeks, whatever I put out, is really good stuff, but I could definitely tell it was starting to get repetitive and long every time. And that's a double-edged sword because it's really good information, and the number one thing that regular people struggle with is putting enough emphasis on the basics. Everybody wants to jump to some advanced programming, some advanced tips, some super cool nifty thing that nobody's ever thought of before, and mostly that's just an exercise and wasting your time, okay? The way you get the most juice with the least amount of squeeze is by sticking to the basic fundamentals. So if you just need a workout, go back and watch any of those previous videos and you can get a workout. But the more important thing is go back and listen to the philosophies as I talk about strength day, muscular endurance day, conditioning day. That's what's important. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into those 3 days one more time over the weekend. Just kind of do a long final explanation there. And then we're just going to start jumping into daily workouts. Shorter videos where I'm getting a little bit more to the point. And then with the daily workouts. And then that way I can film some longer videos on different topics that I want to talk about instead of just repetitively going over the different days. So anyway, again, if you need a workout, go back and look at that stuff. There's plenty of workouts that you can pick from. There's no magic workout. Doesn't matter. Just do something hard. But more importantly, go back, look at those philosophies, And no matter what, just keep working hard, keep training hard. All right, see you later.